Today, I'm composing a theme song for one of the most legendary Greek heroes in history, Odysseus, the king of Ithaca. In this video, we'll understand what made him such an unforgettable character. We'll turn his intelligence, his pride, his losses, and his wins into the impossible journey home into one piece of music. When we imagine a Greek hero, we normally picture someone winning battles through just pure strength alone. But Odysseus was different. He was the legendary king of Ithaca, the husband of Penelope, and one of the Greek leaders who sailed to fight in the Trojan War. But what separated him from warriors like Achilles wasn't his strength, it was his mind and cunningness. Odysseus was known for his intelligence, his ability to deceive his enemies, and his talent for escaping situations that should have been impossible. We don't know whether Odysseus was based on one real king or one true warrior. He belongs to the Greek legend of the Odyssey. His story was likely shaped by generations of oral storytelling before it was actually written down. So like I said, the Odyssey, traditionally attributed to Homer, was composed around actually the 8th century BC. Odysseus may not be historically accurate, but he is something between history, mythology, and thousands of years of storytelling. One of the most wild things about the Odyssey to me is that they have Odysseus already having spent 10 years fighting at Troy before the story even begins. The ancient tradition credits Odysseus with the plan that finally broke the siege, the Trojan Horse, the Battle of Troy. So we all know this story through our children books and other stories here and there. The Greek warriors hid inside a giant wooden horse. The Trojans brought it within their walls. They concealed the soldiers, and they emerged during the night and sacked the city. This is one of the main reasons why we attribute Odysseus to having a sense of cunningness and intelligence over other warriors at the time. So after Troy fell, Odysseus set sail for home. The voyage should have been relatively straightforward, but instead it takes him another 10 years to get home. This is where the story really begins, where we see the countless adventures, puzzles, and strife that he goes through to reach home. One by one, his ships and companions are all lost on the way. At the end, Odysseus finally arrives home and avenges himself. He kills all the suitors, and he left again to do God's bidding and honor his fallen men. So we have this really epic Greek hero. I can only think that this theme would have to sound heroic. It needs to contain that intelligence, curiosity, and danger aspect while also carrying a military march. This is the guy who won the Battle of Troy. So let's start out with that journey. Alright, so to create the foundation for this theme song, I think I'm going to start with the harp. And my reasoning for that is because the harp is essentially a descendant of the lyre, the ancient Greek musical instrument. So that harp gives us that cinematic version of that plucked sound that is similar to what they would have heard in ancient Greece. So to start things off here, I'm going to have the harp play what's called an ostinato. An ostinato is a short musical phrase or rhythm that repeats throughout the section of music. So this will be used to describe the repeating musical pattern throughout the journey that Odysseus takes. So here we go, we're going to start right here. I'm gonna have it repeat. Alright, so we got the ostinato down with the harp. Let's take a listen back to that real quick. Alright, great. Alright, so I went and quantized this and cleaned it up a little just to make sure it's on point for when we record the next instrument. So I figured that the melody should go to an ancient Greek instrument. I decided on the pan flute. I think this is great because the pan flute was known in the ancient Greek world, and it was particularly associated with the countryside, the god Pan, and associating it with a story. It feels more isolated, more human, and it sounds like the wind passing over the islands that Odysseus is traveling to. So with this melody, I wanted to really represent the traveler that Odysseus was and how he was separated from his home and family for these 20 years. So here's what the instrument's going to sound like by itself. Okay, cool. So now let's go. Let's give it a run. I'm going to give the harp 4 here before I come in. So now we compose the 2 most important parts of this theme. We have the repeating journey, the ostinato in the harp, and the main melody in the Greek pan flute. Now it's time to add in the cinematic orchestra. We're going to be adding in the strings to kind of help out that harp and ostinato. We're going to add in the brass to really give it that epic feel towards the climax of his journey. And it's all going to center around the pan flute theme, where it's his longing to return home. So now let's take a listen to my full theme for the Greek legend himself, Odysseus. What I really liked about this piece was that it kind of started off defeated, which is what he was. He was trying to return home. It began with one repeating pattern and then led to one distant melody that grew over time. This felt right because Odysseus's main story actually isn't winning the Battle of Troy. The story is about him coming home and dealing with the trials and tribulations of returning home, taking 10 years. So thanks for watching. I hope you like this theme. I was really inspired by Christopher Nolan's Odyssey, seeing Odysseus. Yeah, and let me know which legendary figure I should compose for next. Alright, until next time. Bye.